What's going on, everybody? Lindsay back here with Side Hustle 247, and in today's video we're going to talk about making $1,200 to $2,000 a week delivering medical supplies, being a medical courier, being an independent courier. But before we get too far into it, make sure and hit that subscribe button, make sure and hit that notification bell. Also, make sure if you guys have any comments or questions, drop them in the comments section down below. If you don't have any comments or questions, just let me know where you're coming from. Just say hello. I love that. So also hit that thumbs up button. And if you guys hang out to the very end, I'm going to show you exactly the exact website I found that, well, I've actually known about it. I just haven't checked it out for a minute, but the exact website, I found a brand new courier company here in Atlanta, and they actually are spread out all over the country. So I'm going to show you exactly the website I used to find this, and I'm going to show you that website that I found. So that being said, let's get right into it. So the number one company that I'm going to show you guys, they do a lot of medical courier work, medical supply work, is called Pace, and it's pace-usa.com. pace-usa.com. Now, one thing before I get too far into Pace, I want to talk about some negative comments that I get. And I'm not doing this because I want to focus on negativeness. What I want to focus on is positive thoughts. This is not just one of those things where you're going to jump in and make $2,000 a month. Or $2,000 a week, excuse me, or $10,000 a month, or $8,000 a month. It's one of those things that it builds up. There's a curve. As you stay longer in the business, you start actually going up. So maybe your first gig isn't that great. But if you stay in it, and if you network, and if you work the system, you can start building up to that amount of money. So people come on here and say, oh, you can't make that kind of money. That's just not true. Do not listen to those people. Now, there's going to be other factors involved. I live in a big city. Atlanta's a big city. There's tons and tons of work here, and the place is booming with courier work. So if you live in some small podunk town in the middle of nowhere and they don't have a lot of courier work, you know, I'm sorry. I understand that. You may not be making this type of money. You don't need to jump on here and tell me that. Like, it's common sense type stuff. Now, your area might be saturated with stuff also. That happens. I understand that. Here in some of the surrounding towns around me, there's a lot of people doing it, and it's harder to find work. Does that mean that you can't find work and you can't do well? Absolutely not. But when I was making my most money, I was actually driving 30 minutes just to get to the place where I would start working. So that happens. You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice a little bit of time, a little bit of driving to go to make the money in certain locations. So, and another thing, don't just jump into this business and decide you're going to go buy a cargo van or a box truck. That's not the smartest way to go. Get into this business first. If you have a car, use that car. Go out and get into this business. Work for companies that are doing the cars, cargo vans, box trucks, so you can get an understanding of how it works. Talk to people in those industries. Like, network as much as you possibly can to start building up, you know, the amount of money you can make in this business. Start understanding the business. So I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to jump into this. So pace-usa.com. This is a great company. They have locations all over the place. We'll jump on the locations real quick. I'm not going to get too crazy into everything. So here's the location: Alabama, Louisiana, Michigan, North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, Dallas, Texas. So they got a good amount of locations. Let's see. Drive with us. If you guys want to watch that video, you can go on there by yourself. A lot of these are going to be standard type situations. Courier drivers, Shreveport, Louisiana. This is going to be, they're going to be standard requirements. They're going to make you have commercial insurance. They're going to do background checks. They're going to run MVRs. They're going to do drug tests. Those are the type things that they're gonna do. Now, I always say this all the time. The more open you are, the more freedom you have to like work at different times in different locations, and travel a little bit and be, open to anything and everything. You're going to make more money that way. Here's a typical 6 days per week between the hours of 8:30 and 6:30 p.m. Somebody said to me the other day that you only make money if you can work at weird times. That is complete nonsense. And anybody who tells you that just is talking out their behind. That's all I can say to that. Don't listen to that kind of stuff. Yes, there might be good available positions at weird times. It is what it is. They need people to work the weird times too. But that doesn't mean that's the only time to make money. The people that I knew that were making the most money worked during the day. Straight up during the day. Now, they were very flexible. They worked on the weekends and stuff like that. Sometimes they worked in the evenings. Like, from 5 to 10. If that's a weird time for you, I'm sorry. It's a weird time for me. I can't work that time. So I'm not saying it's weird because I've worked those times before. But the reality is that's pretty standard in the courier business. Okay, so that's number one, pace-usa.com. Number two is going to be Reliable Couriers. Reliable Couriers is everywhere, including you California people. Don't hit me up and say, hey, where's a company in California? This is a heavily West Coast side, and basically Midwest, Eastern. Reliable's everywhere. So they're in California. You California people, don't you even think about jumping on here and asking me about California. So Reliable is a very good company, and they're all over the country. I'm not going to get into it. Same type requirements. What they have open, just hit them up. If you guys are wondering if they have something in your area, don't just jump on here and say, oh, Pace is only in, they don't even go by, if they got something in your area, say yes, and then jump on it. But the reality is, like, go and call them up, text them, email them, whatever, and say, hey, I'm in this area. Do you guys have anything? I'm willing to travel. I'm not willing to travel. So reliablecouriers.com is reliable. Next, Beeline Courier Service. I've heard tons and tons of good stuff about Beeline. They pay well. I'm sure as soon as I said that, somebody's going to jump on here and be like, they're terrible, but who cares? Beeline Courier, they do a lot of medical courier work, and they are, let's see, Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Missouri, Ohio. So they're heavily in the Midwest, it looks like, kind of the Southeast, Midwest, whatever. I never know how that goes. So beelinecourier.com, hit them up. Next one is going to be sds-rx.com, sds-rx.com. I'm pretty sure that they're all over the country, but I don't know for 100. Florida, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska. So they have stuff all over the place. Just hit them up and find out if they're in your area or if they can use drivers where your general vicinity is. So that's going to be sds-rx.com. And the next one is going to be Express Errands Courier, and that's going to be expresserrandsofjax.com. So this is the company that I found off of that other website. And just to, let you know, cbdriver is the website that I found it on. I hadn't been on cbdriver in forever. So I was just kind of like, let me go check it out, see if there's anything, kind of popping off on cbdriver, because I hadn't been on there in a minute. So I jumped on there and I saw... Actually, what really popped out was they were doing medical courier work kind of close to my area, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Unfortunately, it just doesn't mix with what I'm looking to do right now, but they got stuff Jacksonville, North Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Wilmington, Atlanta, Phoenix, Austin. So a lot of you people hit me up about Austin. There you go. Chicago, Virginia Beach, Birmingham, Indianapolis, Los Angeles. My California people, there you go. Nashville, Tennessee, San Antonio. I get some San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. So this place is heavily in Texas. Go check them out. They got they do like airport runs. They do a lot of medical courier work. So go check them out. Now, cbdriver. So that's Aaron's. I'll drop all these websites in the description just to let you guys see it. So very good company. Opportunities. They're going to want the same things. They're looking for a lot of cars. So you guys don't need to have like vans or box trucks or anything like that. Yes, you could probably use an SUV. That always is fine. As far as trucks, guys, yes, you can use a truck. I don't know how many of these companies are going to be like, oh yeah, we want a guy with a truck. Because sometimes they just want their stuff covered. If you have a back seat in your truck, you'll probably be all right. I've seen people using trucks. I don't know if they signed up using trucks, but yes, you can use trucks, but you're not going to get big cargo runs with trucks because the reality is just like they want their stuff covered up. And the more you get into this business, that doesn't mean that opportunities won't arise to where you can use a truck to make more money. Like the people you know, the more people you know, the more networking, the more connections, then you can start understanding what I'm talking about. So that being said, let's jump over to cbdriver.com, cbdriver.com. So I just recommend join for free, sign up, see what's in your area. Now, cbdriver will actually, like, once you sign up, they'll start emailing you stuff all the time to let you know, hey, this popped up in your area. Or so if you're looking for other opportunities like box trucks, cargo vans, things like that, medical courier, just regular courier, whatever it is, look, SDX jumped right here. So guys, another thing I like to say, when it says $250 to $750 a week, don't jump on here and say, they only pay this. That stuff's just a bunch of nonsense what they put on there. They're not like, yes, they're going to put some kind of range. If you're not willing to work a whole lot and you just want to work one day a week, then it's $250. You know, like those are the type things that we're talking about. Like, don't take all this stuff for what they say. Like, you have to go join on, and then you'll start getting there. Ask them questions like, hey, do you have other opportunities besides being on demand? Do you have other routes that come available sometimes? How many routes do you guys generally have? Like, just ask questions like that. Understand how big their business is. Do other things come available? Those type things are happening all the time. Great routes get dropped. If people like you, if you're cool with the dispatch guys and the people running the show, all of a sudden you have the opportunity to get a $350 route that's, 7 hours long. Those are things that happen all the time. So keep an open mind. Don't take everything you see on the internet as like set in stone. There's plenty of opportunities out there. So cbdriver.com, go check it out. And I appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Let me know where you're coming from. Hit that thumbs up. And thank everybody who subscribes to the channel, who jumps on here and gives me great feedback. Even the people who just give me feedback about, like, I don't mind negative feedback about a company, but I want it to be your experience. I don't want it to be just like some, like, hey, that company sucks and this business sucks and everything sucks. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great day. Peace.